Lady Shepsa here from Let Go, Let Goddess, Sacred Femininity Healer, Tao Tantra Coach, and author, bringing you the third and final video in this series that I've been doing, Myths About Women in Sex. So today we're going to discuss the third myth, which I think is actually the most, if not one of the most damaging myths that affects the connection that women have to their sensuality, their sexuality, and their bodies. And that myth is that women are cursed. Yes, the myth that comes from the Bible and from the story that's titled The Fall of Man. Okay? So, to give you a little review, in the story in the Bible, there's a whole story about the fall of man and Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. And Eve becomes tempted by the serpent, who tempts her to eat the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil from the tree that God forbid them from eating this fruit. Okay, so Eve is the first one, and she eats the fruit, and then she gives the fruit to her husband Adam, who eats it. And then God comes, he catches them eating, and he says, how did you know you were naked? Because they run to hide themselves, and they're naked and ashamed, and God is mad, God is pissed, and he curses them. He curses the serpent, he curses Eve, and he curses Adam. So what's interesting about the curses that each of the three get, right? The serpent is cursed to, crawl in his belly, right? So we see the snake and he crawls in his belly. Adam is cursed to have to toil the land, right? And to work to, feed himself, right? He has to work the land. Eve, however, her curse has to deal with what? Her sexuality, her womb. Eve is cursed to, number one, have pain during her childbearing years. So that relates to the menstrual cycle, right? Cramps and things like that some women experience. And the pain of childbirth, right? That she would bring children into this world through pain. So for me, I've always found it very interesting that Eve's curse relates directly to her womb, her reproductive organs, her sexuality, while Adam's is more about, just working the land, right? And we can even argue that women, especially now, and probably, for hundreds of thousands of years, work the land pretty hard. There's always been women farmers, and, women have to work the land as well. So it's interesting to me that Adam's curse, though, is specific to him, is something that human beings just kind of have to do, but it has nothing to do with Adam's sexuality, right? He's not cursed to have a flaccid penis or something like that. So what is the effect of this myth upon women? Number one, hearing this myth, especially as a young person growing up, you begin to believe that your womb, your sacred center, is cursed by God because Eve disobeyed God, right? So you begin to have this disconnection with your womb, and you think that your womb is destined to bring you pain. So how can you have a positive connection and identification to being a woman and your womb and your sexuality and your vagina and your yoni if you think that this thing is cursed, right? So we grow up looking at our womb and our gender as a burden, right? Oh, why? Why do I have to have this menstrual cycle every month? And why does it have to give me cramps? And childbirth is really, this painful, horrible experience, right? So part of us destroying this mythology is really to reconnect with our wombs and reconnect with our feminine power. We have to reverse this disconnection that we have had with our womb and our sexuality, okay? So this starts by recentering the womb. I say that the womb has been decentered, right? We must recenter the womb and connect with our wombs as women so that we may have a healthy connection to our sex and our sexuality and our womb power. Our womb is a source of our creativity. A womb is a source of pleasure, and our wombs are the portals through which life comes to earth on this planet. What is more sacred than that? How can we allow this myth to disconnect us from that power? It must have been a reason that this myth was created, so that we wouldn't connect and know our power as women. But times are changing, and the time has come to reclaim our sacred womb power. Okay, so on the full moon this coming Tuesday, I will be having my free masterclass 5 secrets every woman needs to know to awaken her sensual goddess. And we're going to go through a practice during this masterclass that releases and heals the womb from pent up stress, negative energy, and womb trauma, right? This disconnection that we have with our womb, stemming from these biblical myths, right? And I'm using the word myth on purpose. It is a mythology. This disconnection that we have is then reflected as we begin to grow up in Western culture. And a lot of us have experienced womb trauma, such as rape, molestation, just not having a connection to this sacred energy center in our bodies and seeing it as a source of pain and trauma. And it's time to reclaim it and it's time to heal that. So hopefully you will join me live this coming full moon for the Sensual Goddess Masterclass. You can click the link that is with this video. The link is also with my bio. Click the link and sign up for the class. We're going to have an amazing time on the Masterclass, and we're going to really work to step into our sensual and sexual power, reclaim our womb, and live our divine right to be sensual and sexual beings. Talk to you soon. Bye.